celebration report. Wonderful to have had the opportunity to have visited with family members from the Bowling Green and Richardsville area between September 5th and 6th. We had a marvelous time. I wanted to share some pictures with you today and report on the activities of the event. So maybe we'll share the pictures as we talk about the things that went on there. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to share some pictures from the event. So, first of all, this is the sign that they put up in Richardsville about the Family Heritage Celebration. Appreciate very much the publicity and so forth that went into and was a part of the whole event. The event was really, we talked about it, the event was really managed there by two wonderful families, Jerry Hudnall and his wife Sue, and their family. And I should tell you that these charts that you're looking at, Jerry decided that it would be fun to have family members fill out information about their families. So he took pedigree charts around and family group sheets and had them fill out information, and then they constructed over 40 of these charts that you can see here. Okay, let's go on to the next picture. Jerry and worked also with Terry Young and his wife Linda, who's pictured here. Terry owns the property that was originally part of the Taylors when they came to Kentucky more than 200 years ago. And between the two of them, their good wives, they set up the activities that took place in the Richardsville area. So I really, really appreciated their efforts in doing this, and we'll talk about some of the things that they did as we talk about the report of the activities that we had. The Taylor Association had not been to back into the Kentucky area since 1993. So it was wonderful to go back and meet. The association, of course, is pivoted at Joseph Taylor Sr. We actually were working with the gathering of the children, the 11 children of his son Joseph Jr. As we look back on it, I'm excited to report that we did have representatives of all 11 children at the event. So that was remarkable in and of itself. And this is a picture of Terry and Linda at one of the two locations that we held the conference at. First was at the Richardsville Community Center. The second was at the LDS Church, and we'll talk about the activities that went on at both of those locations. This picture of Jane and Royal Smith. She's a descendant of Tempe Taylor. They came in from Illinois, and Jane and her husband did all of the registration for the group. We had over 60 registrations. Many of those were husband and wife, and we didn't register people who came on Saturday. So probably well over 100 people visited at one point in time at the activity. We very much appreciated their participation with us. This is here we are at registration, and we'll stop this. At the registration, we have the Pierces here. They came in from Salt Lake City, part of the William Taylor line, and we have Jane and Carl Taylor's wife helping with the registration process. This was at the Richardsville Community Center. Now, what Jerry set up were these charts. Let's step back and look at that first one for a moment. There were over 30 of these charts that he had filled out by family and family. Most all of them connected in one way or another to the Joseph Taylor family. Here you see myself and Terry Young examining some of the charts as they were about to be put in place. Here is Linda Young and Dave Elder. He is a descendant of part of the Taylor family, and they are examining their chart, comparing it with some that he brought in. While it was billed as a family heritage celebration, all of Richardsville and the surrounding area were invited, as you saw from the poster, to drop by and see what was going on. And many did, to visit with family and friends. Here's a closer example of the charts. The Hudnalls, as you will note here, this is the celebration of their 200th year in the area. The Taylors arrived in 1808, so they got there a few years earlier. Gail Hudnall recently passed away, but this is his descendant line, and the Hudnalls married in a number of ways. Married into the Taylors, the Whites here were married and became part of the Taylors. The Eptons, these people. So, and here we have it turns out the Gail was connected to the Taylors in two ways. So here we have Joseph Taylor Jr.'s wife, their daughter Frances, marrying William Cherry, and that brings this line in. The other line is coming in from this line, again a white line, and from this line here. So he connected in three ways. It was very interesting to see all of this as they connected. This is another example, again, of the connectivity of the of the family line. You saw Charlotte on the previous chart. You'd be back at 2 generations, and you would be connecting to the Taylors again on this particular chart. Linda and Terry got into Lassie Moats. She was a Taylor that owns some of the property that they bought, and got into their smokehouse. And while they were there, they discovered some of these artifacts, the jugs, the little wagon, and these are some dried beans. I was even shown a jar of tobacco seeds that had been come out of some of these older homes. This is Faye Alfred. Faye has taken upon herself to work on gathering the information about the cemeteries in the area. In the early days, of course, people buried their families on their own land. So she has gathered multiple cemeteries and has received much recognition for her work in gathering and documenting the small family cemeteries, right, which you can see here in each of these individual binders that she had before. There was binders here and binders on another group going off to your left as well that she brought in to share with families to help with their connection. This is the Lassie Moats home. It's used by the family of Terry Young. Right now, one of his grandsons is living there. His sons lived there for a while and has since moved out. Of course, there wasn't the towers and the dishes there when Lassie owned the home, but it's still there and very viable. Part of the events, besides coming and visiting and seeing your pedigree, was 3 tours that Terry and Jerry arranged for people to go on to visit both the Taylor and the Hudnall Cemetery, plus a couple of other churches in the area. The churches, as they began, one of them was called the Union Church. Union meaning that there was a union of various sects that met in the building, and we'll show you that here in a moment. But the people came and there were 2 tours on Friday, and then there was another tour Saturday evening as they returned from Bowling Green. See, the barrel's been covered by blankets. By the way, this trailer, see, it has a hydraulic lift on it, so it actually lowers right to the ground. People can get in it, and then it raises, and great for cemetery touring. This is where the Green River Union Church stood. It was there in 1993, fell into very disuse, and they had to take it down. Terry Young, which you can see here to the right, when he recognized the heritage of the church, he felt bad that they didn't do more to try and preserve it. This is the actual site where the church sat, and you can read here that it was organized by the Hudnalls, and various groups met there. You note the names of some of the predominant families. The Youngs, Uptons, Hudnalls, and Taylors were all predominant there as it was being built and used. This is looking at the Green River Union Cemetery, part of it. There's another piece of about the same size off to your left. Again, many parts of these early families are buried in this location. Part of that cemetery tour was the opportunity to visit the cemeteries. And here we have Jane playing her great-great-grandmother and shared a little piece about the family. This tombstone was put up in the early 1900s after a reunion back in 1909, when they suggested that they ought to have something more permanent on the Taylor Cemetery. So now let's look at the cemetery. This is a part of the cemetery, and note the work that Linda Young did. She put up markers to describe what the content of what's on the stone. In some cases, the stones were unreadable. They knew that this person was buried there. She researched it and put up the markers so that people could easily take pictures of their descendants, and as they moved the tour through. This part of the Hudnall Cemetery with Terry, myself, and the Smiths in front of this tombstone of Bartlett Basham, who was the descendant, as I recall, of Terry, again, but also related to the Taylors. And here is the tombstone of Polly Hudnall Taylor. Polly married. Was married in the wife of, you see there, of Joseph Taylor, one of Joseph Jr.'s sons. Want to take a picture, share with you Geraldine Hudnall. Her husband recently died in his 90s. Geraldine was one of the active members in 1993 in the reunion that occurred at that time, and helped to make it possible for that. And of course, our continuation was a result of her work. Her husband, her son, Jerry, was, of course, they kidded him about getting the genealogical bug 20 some odd years ago. He was not interested at all, but he certainly was a mover and shaker in this event. A part of the work at the LDS Church in Bowling Green were the opportunity for members to look at their lines going, coming forward. We had about, let's see, there was 23 charts that you're seeing here of 2 feet wide and 6 feet long. But you see there is Linda Young. As she looked at the chart, she recognized that she could add some information about her own family, which she has posted and will eventually be added to the Taylor database of 230,000 names. There's about 90,000 of them are connected to direct line Taylors. Here you see these last 3 charts here are Joseph Bess Taylor family. They're in the Bowling Green area. You see there already there's a little tag about someone who is connected to that line. These charts, there were so many of them that they encompassed the whole of the cultural hall of the LDS Church for people to look at. In addition to providing the charts there, we also provided the opportunity for people to record stories of their ancestors. record stories of their own life, and if they had artifacts, to share stories about the artifacts. Nelda Sanders brought his story to share about a gourd that her ancestor kept under the bed. It was used to gather eggs, and at one point, but she has the gourd, and so she was thrilled to be able to share it with the community. Well, that, I guess, is the end of the pictures that I selected, of the hundreds of pictures that were taken, to give you a feel. Following the activity here at the LDS Church, we returned back to Richardsville, where we had, again, the last tour. It was an evening tour of the Richardsville cemeteries, and then we also were able to have more of the pulled pork barbecue. I need to mention about how they did that, and I should do that so you can have some feel for how that went. It was really, really interesting. What they did was they made corn cakes. They were really a pancake made of cornmeal, and so we had the corn cake, and you put on top of that, you put the pulled pork, and then on top of that, the sauce that you'd select, barbecue, honey barbecue, various selections of sauces, and then some beans. It was excellent, and people really enjoyed that. They had that in a pop machine that you could choose what you would like to use. So it was a wonderful meal that was served on both occasions. It was a great amount of work and wonderfully done. We appreciated so much the efforts of so many people to put up the displays in the Richardsville Community Center, to the registration, the food, and the publicity. We should mention that it was announced in the local newspaper, and we actually had a number of people show up, on, at least that I'm aware of, on Saturday as a result of learning about the event in the newspaper. The Kentucky Genealogical Society also wanted to run material, and we gave them some material for an article before the event, and provided a summary of the events for them to share with on their online blog with the Kentucky Genealogical Society members. We appreciated that and hope some good will come from it. We were able to have a number of people join the association, and we're thrilled to see now that we have representatives of all 11 of the surviving children of Joseph Taylor Jr. that are affiliated with the Taylor Family Association. There's another interesting thing in reflection that we see about the Richardsville and Bowling Green area. The area, because of so many children stayed in the area of the Taylors, stayed in the area, we consider that in genealogical terms, a community of interest. And so we're looking at establishing a database of connectivity of families that were related or married into the Taylor family. Some of them married early, and now, in generations later, they're they're discovering that they are related again. So that's we're establishing that kind of a community database so that we can share that with the family as we go forward, and it will be a wonderful thing. One of the pictures that I didn't get a copy of, that we found as we were working to make this happen, we found a early chart of the Taylor family that went back into North Carolina, and that had been done by Nora Young Ferguson and the Eva Fee's mother, I guess, and Jesse Warner. In order to make it so that you could read it, it had to be 3 feet wide and 12 feet long. We now have that, and it's on the website, as will be other pictures and activities of the things which we had at that location. We had made a number of friends and are planning to do further work in terms of collecting and sharing more information about the family while we are moving forward here. It's wonderful. We should probably do this again in 3 or 4 years. They're keeping the charts. I've suggested that maybe we ought to look at using the school, which is right across the street from this community center, so we can maybe do workshops and seminars and help people with the connectivities of their histories as they're working together. So we'll see how that goes. But it was a wonderful experience, and the people in Bowling Green are to be commended for their efforts in helping to host this event. Some of us traveled great distance to be there, but these people had spent hours to make this happen, to see that it worked. One example, Terry spent time cleaning up the cemeteries, and he got to the local commissioners to put in a new coat of gravel around the Taylor Cemetery, which a couple of years ago he had them assist in a major cleanup along with a Boy Scout troop to get that presentable. And he had done a major work likewise with family and that of the Hudnalls in getting the Hudnall Cemetery into a place of beauty and peace and serenity that the families could enjoy. We appreciated all who came, and we trusted that they, as you look at this video, that you'll remember some of the fun moments. We'd appreciate comments about things that you saw. And if you have questions about the event or would like more information, you're more than welcome to write to get online at the TaylorFamilyAssociation.org on our website, or to send a note to me, Gordon Taylor, gmtmt@msn.com, and we will try and respond to your questions about the event and those who were there. We are actually going to compare all of the charts to the database to be sure that we have all of the information that was there and see areas where we need to collect more. Linda Young has already told me she's planning to spend the winter working on collecting more of the information about the family. So we're excited that the work continues, and the sharing of the heritage that we have in America. These people were great lovers of liberty and religious freedom. And it's interesting to see the great blessings that we share as a result of this heritage that has been established by these good people. Thank you very much for visiting with us, and we look forward to comments or questions as we move forward.